Okay, we are going forward now and we'll talk about variables. Again, these are like basic concepts of programming. It's not just Python, this is actually in any language you'll have variables. So make sure that you understand this. If not, come again, have another look and just play around with the code, see what you can do and what you cannot do, and get a good understanding of this, because as I told you, these are basics, alright? These are core concepts that we are going to use all the way in these exercises. Okay, so we have variables. What these are, imagine them as empty containers, empty boxes. You put something inside that empty box, and whenever you call in your code that empty box, it will actually use what is inside. Now let me show you. To declare a variable, you will have to start with a letter. It can't start with a number or a symbol, so it has to be a letter. Okay, so we have, let's say, variable. Let's use a lowercase letter, and now as you can see, it's not alright. Whenever you have something like this, yellow, whatever, is not good. So why is it not good? Because you need to assign something to that variable, alright? So you write the variable, now you need to do an assignment, you put an equal sign, and you need to assign something to that. Let's say we assign number 2. Now this equal sign, it's actually going to give the variable this value, alright? So hopefully that makes sense. When you use the equal sign, you should have the container here, so it's box on the left sign of the equal and what you want to put inside the box on the right side of the equal. Now, as you can see, this one changes the color. It's blue now because the computer knows this is not a simple word, this is a variable. As you can see, even if you hold your mouse above it, you'll have variable written there. Okay, so let's go have a print. We print variable. As you can see, we didn't put quotation marks around it because this is not a piece of text that we want to print. As it is, this is an actual variable, so it has a value, it has the value of 2. So when you write this, what do you think will happen? As you can see, it prints here number 2. Okay, let's play computer a little bit. As we learned in the previous lesson, you read the code from top to bottom. So the computer comes here on the first line, here on the first line. It's a comment, skips it, empty line, skips it, and it goes here, alright? So variable equals to number 2. Now whenever we are going to use this, the computer knows it's a variable and it will put this value inside. So it comes down here, it has print variable, it replaces this with 2 and it does our print, alright? If you try to run this as a string and you try to put it inside quotation marks, what do you think will happen? Well, let's run the code. As you can see now, it actually prints what is inside the quotation mark, which is variable. Some things about how you declare a variable. As I told you, you need to start with a letter. It can be a lowercase, it can be an uppercase, but remember that this is case sensitive. So now if you declare a variable in uppercase, starting with an uppercase letter, even if it's the same word, as you can see, it's going to show us an error. Name variable is not defined because we don't have this name anywhere, we have actually this, alright? So make sure that you call it right. As I told you before, you can only start a letter, but after that you can have numbers inside, so variable 2121, and when we call it, as you can see, it still works. You cannot have any symbols, so if you try to add a symbol, you see it's not working. And actually what works, it's underscore, because this is like, how can I say it, it's good practice whenever you have like a long word variable to use underscore to separate to break the words. Let's have, for example, a variable with number. Okay, so instead of break, you need to put something like underscore, because if you put breaks here, as you can see, now the computer doesn't know this is a variable, it thinks it's code. So we write like this, variable with number, and when we call, it's going to work. Okay, let's reduce this, and let's see what we can hold inside that variable. As you can see, we can hold a number, we can hold an actual expression. So can you guess what will be the output of this? Well, if you said 4, that is right, because again, I'm sorry if I'm repeating, but I want you to repeat this because you'll need to understand this stuff. Now we only have 2 lines of code, but if we run up 30-40 lines of, of code, and we have an error, then we say, okay, where is the error? Sometimes we will have an error here saying that something is wrong. Sometimes, as you can see, if you do something wrong, like you put something here, just it shows here where is the problem. But sometimes you will try to get a result, but you'll get something else, and that is when you'll have to go through your code, see what happens, and go each line and see what the computer does and why it's not giving you the right result. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, don't worry, it will make a lot of sense later on when we go through the exercises and when we will have errors, and I will show you later how to fix your errors. Okay, so let's print this. As I've told you, it's 4 now. Another thing it can hold, it's a string, so let's say text. Okay, and what happens if I want this variable to hold a string and a number? Well, probably you already guessed because it went all red. It's not working. If you do like this, what do you think will happen? It will work. If not, it will not. Let's see. Well, it's working in a way, but now you have it inside this parentheses because you have different data types in your variable. So this we'll talk about in the next lesson. We'll talk about data types. We already used some, we already seen some, and in the next lesson we will see them all and understand them.